Are you happy in your business? Now, I have had my share of emotional ups and downs in my 20 years of being a solo entrepreneur coach. And the patterns I've seen in myself and in my clients is that those downs are usually when I was personally feeling unfulfilled. Sometimes it was because a launch that flopped, and sometimes it was just life and had nothing to do with business. But those ups, oh boy, those are the times when I was feeling my most authentic and completely aligned to my purpose, or when I just felt like I was rocking that work-life balance. I would be thinking I could do this all day long and never feel tired. One of my loves is sharing what works for me and what has been working for my clients to achieve this very feeling, full of passion, happiness, peace, and freedom. So I decided to create a private podcast for coaches. Maybe you just want to develop better communication skills that boosts engagement, leads to better results, and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference in the lives of the people you serve. Then you're invited too. We talk about this and more in the UBU private podcast for coaches. Whether you're a mentor, a parent, or run a client-focused business, coaching skills benefit everyone and anyone who wants to communicate in a way that builds relationships. Fall in love with your life and business again. Click the link in the show notes for your invitation to join us right now. Then come back and enjoy this episode. Hey, Difference Maker. This is a bonus episode while I'm taking just a teeny tiny break from the interviews with my personality tool experts. Why am I taking a break? Well, for one, I had some postponements and some reschedules that happened. And secondly, I'm launching a YouTube channel. The pre-launch plan is already underway, but this isn't a fluffy episode. I want to talk a little bit about, Jen, what do you do when plans don't go your way? I'm going to share what I've just experienced in just a moment, so stick around. It's time to stop comparing yourself to others and plug in to what is uniquely you. Welcome to Unbox Your Personality, the podcast for coaches, creatives, and educators like you who understand that your happiness makes you more effective in what you do, bringing out the best in others. I'm Jen P. Higgins, personality strategist and Enneagram fluff remover. Get laser focused on who you are and who you aren't, so you're free to make the impact you were born to make. And have fun doing it. Your personality is your business, so let's get down to business. You know that feeling when you finally stop procrastinating and you decide, I'm just going to put myself out there and make an announcement saying, hey, I'm getting ready to do this thing, or I am thinking about starting a YouTube channel. And then you realize, oh crap, that means I have to do it now. And then of course you decide, you know what, this is great. I need the accountability anyway. I got to get my butt going. This is what it's going to take for me to finally do it. And then you start moving forward, you make all the plans, and then you start getting into execution mode. And it doesn't quite go exactly the way you planned. Or maybe it doesn't go anything like how you planned. But then you feel like you have to have integrity because, well, I've already told everyone and now everybody's watching me and I gotta save face and this would be so embarrassing to just quit before I even got started. Maybe you see where I'm going here. Yes, I might have experienced a little bit about that in the last week or so. I've actually been wanting to start a YouTube channel for, I think it's a year now. If you go back a year in the podcast, I started recording video just like this for my podcasts with the intention that I was going to make reels and I was going to make TikToks and I was going to make YouTube content. I had it all planned out. A whole year of recording my podcasts. and not a single one of them made it to YouTube. And I don't know what was holding me back. I know one was I didn't feel very confident that I could keep up with one more social media platform. I already have this love-hate relationship with social media anyway. And then the other thing is that I just didn't want to bite off more than I could chew. My kids are huge YouTube fans. And they have said in the past, Mom, you should start a YouTube channel. You can make a lot of money. So-and-so, does this and does that. And, not being extremely motivated by money, that didn't light a fire under my butt. But what has gotten me passionate about starting a YouTube channel is that I know I have a message to share. I don't have a huge social media following. If you're not following me, by the way, go to @PowerCoachJen on all the platforms. TikTok is @JenPHiggins. And maybe you could change that around for me. But I know just by watching my kids, they're getting views left and right and not even trying. And it's not about these vanity metrics. It's about getting my information out there. Now, my podcast has been my largest following and consistent following so far. And we have been at it for 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years. It blows me away. But I know that not everybody is a podcast listener. And I feel like my message is way too important to limit to one segment of my population. There are some of you out there that are working so hard to find your passion, or maybe you found it and you're working so hard to get your message out there. And it all comes down to how you operate on the inside, this internal reflex of your personality, both the nature and the nurture. And the more you understand that, the more you can communicate better through your brand, through your messaging, through your offers. So after spending months planning and preparing for the upcoming launch, I'm not gonna lie, I was super irritated this week that, now it's go time. Last week, I even posted the actual date, February 27th is when we're planning to officially launch, and that our pre-launch plans are already underway. I just started having second thoughts and second guessing if I should continue. Here's what happened. I had the content planned out for an entire 6 months with the idea that I was going to get all dolled up and just batch record all of the content and it be set. I've done this with the podcast before. It wasn't going to be a big deal. Let's do this. Well, first of all, recording for a podcast and recording for a video is two different beasts, two different animals, because when you edit for a podcast, you just have to sound okay. You don't have to look okay. But for the video, and I'm not talking about my hair, I'm not talking about my makeup or anything like that, but it needs to be visually appealing. You can't have these crazy jump cuts, or at least this is what I'm telling myself, these jump cuts between scenes, or if I don't say something exactly right, it looks weird when you edit it on video versus when you edit it on podcast, it sounds like it's the same sentence. And then there's the fact that because I was on my feet, because I had it in my mind that, hey, I'll be less fidgety if I'm standing instead of when I'm sitting. I have some ADHD issues. No, I still fidgeted, and I was on my feet all day long. So I was dog tired by the end of the evening. And you could tell on the video. It's why did I get all dolled up? Why did I put makeup on for me to look dog tired? If I'm going to look dog tired, I want to have no makeup on, my hair not be washed, and I'm still in my PJs, which if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you've seen my reels where As soon as I wake up in the morning, I am recording a reel. So while batch recording worked for the podcast, most of the video wasn't even usable because I just looked tired and I was boring myself, to be honest. And if I'm not going to have fun, then what's the point to doing it? For 2 days afterward, I was useless. I was so tired. I had eaten poorly. I had slept poorly during this batch recording. My voice was tired and I was so dehydrated. I didn't get out of my PJs for 2 days straight, which, if I'm honest, that's not quite as unusual as you might think. Now, I know as a type 7, I have some idealistic tendencies that I put a whole big plan together and it's going to be rainbows and unicorns. And then when it's not, it's so easy to feel disappointed. And it's not that it's a bad plan. It's simply a lack of clarity in my goals. And sometimes a lack of clarity is simply because, Jen, you're tired. So I want to share 3 things with you that I learned this week trying to redo my plans. So here you go. Here are the 3 things to remember when plans don't go the way you plan. Number 1, you got to listen to your body. If you are extra tired, maybe it's because you've pushed yourself too hard. Maybe it's because you're coming down with something like a cold. If you feel like you're having cravings, or maybe you're feeling a little manic, overwhelmed, some heart palpitations are going on, or you just have like a uneasy feeling in your gut. Don't ignore that. Yeah, it may be the tacos you ate last night, but it could be your intuition as well. Lean into that. Your body is so intelligent and it is constantly working to maintain homeostasis. And if you don't pay attention to just the basic physiological functioning of your body, it's going to hold you back from meeting these other higher needs. If you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy pyramid, then you know what I'm talking about. Number 2, you've got to ride out the emotional wave. Humans are emotional beings. And sometimes when you feel like quitting, it doesn't mean you actually should quit. So just remember, don't quit, just tweak, not twerk. Unless that works. Did you know that feeling, that I'm done feeling, only comes about in 2 situations? When you're on an emotional low or when you're on an emotional high. You're either on a low saying, I'm done, I quit, this ain't working, nothing's going as planned. Or you're on emotional high and going, woohoo, it went off without a hitch. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Now, there's nothing wrong with celebrating. But sometimes what happens when we're on that emotional high, we'll say, I'm done, I have arrived, I can rest on my laurels. And we wonder why things start sliding. The key of finding that perseverance to not quit is to get back to neutral. So ride out those emotional waves. Keep moving forward, adjust as you go, and that quitting feeling is going to pass the closer you get to being neutral and being in alignment. And number 3, keep it real. Be transparent. The leaders that make the best role models are the ones who are embracing their imperfections. They're learning from the mistakes that they've done in the past. And honestly, they just make the rest of us feel better about ourselves. Like if they can do it, then I can do it because there's nothing that makes them different than me. They have the same struggles. They just have the grit to push through it. And if you're not transparent about when you are struggling, you're going to open the door to imposter syndrome. Always keep in mind, I love this little phrase that I learned many, many years ago. A setback is a setup for a comeback. Now, don't worry, the YouTube project is still underway. The plan just looks a little bit differently now. During the pre-launch, you've been seeing some repurposed content pop up while I've been hunkering down, tweaking the plan. If you haven't already, I would love for you to go check out the channel on YouTube at Power Coach Jen. Go ahead and subscribe, and then be there on February 27th when we officially launch. The channel is all about working with your personality instead of against it, because the more you put more of what makes you into your business, the happier you're going to be, the more passionate you're going to be about how you are serving your clients. So come join us so you can continue to unbox yourself and unleash your power.
Thank you for listening, subscribing, and reviewing the Unbox Your Personality podcast. To learn more about yourself, go to powercoachjen.com. Find out how you are different so you can make your difference.